Record. All right, let's check out this new video.
John from WOT Up. Welcome back to another video. And if you're watching this video, you're probably just as excited and intrigued as I was when I first heard the news. And if this comes to fruition, it will be the biggest thing for the Wheel of Time fandom since the show was announced. And I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not going to lie, I haven't stopped smiling since I was told.
The show.
If you generally don't know, we do here cover Wheel of Time news. Now, normally we focus on the show. So that is the Prime Video Wheel of Time show, whether it be leaks, rumors, official news.
Remember when he didn't focus on the show? This guy's still a major sellout, in my opinion.
However, there have been a handful of times in the last couple of years that this channel has been active where I could talk about the books in sort of a breaking news type way. One of them would have been The Origins of Wheel of Time by Michael Livingston. I got to interview the author, talk about the book a bit here on the channel. I got to read it a little bit early and review it. It was really very cool.
Yeah, nice.
This one is another one of those times, and it's really, really very cool. Now, before we dive into what I was told, I do want to remind you folks to take this with a grain of salt. Nothing official has been announced from Tor or the Bandersnatch Group because, well, let's face it, until it's very close to actually happening, we're probably not going to know anything about it at all. And they're still in the very preliminary stages of planning for this.
So it's all hearsay right now. Well, let's see what the hearsay is.
So again, nothing official. Take this with a grain of salt. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk just a bit about the Wheel of Time, why this is exciting, and exactly what I was told, what we could possibly expect as a fandom. So, Wheel of Time books were not written all by one author. Now, they are Robert Jordan's baby. He created the world, he envisioned it, and he wrote most of the books. However, he did pass away in 2007.
Remember the day.
He was left grieving two things. They were reading the author, but they were also reading the series because no one was really sure if it would ever be finished. Now, it just so happens that Robert Jordan's editor was also his wife, and Harriet reached out to a young author, Brandon Sanderson, to see if he could finish the series. Now, he did, and we have completed Wheel of Time series to this day. Now, Robert Jordan left a ton of notes behind about a bunch of different things, including a few lines here and there about the possibility of prequel or Outbreaker, like that.
Robert Jordan died September 16th in 2007. I was in Iraq when that happened. I was in the Marine Corps. I was stationed at Camp Fallujah. I was pretty devastated when I heard the news. This book series was huge to me for my entire life.
At the end of the actual series novels, but there wasn't a whole lot in the way of meat and bones. What happened there? There were no real big plans for it, although he had mentioned that he would like to get onto that. Now, it never happened, and up to this point, we all thought as Wheel of Time fandom that it probably wouldn't, because officially, Harriet and other people have said that they probably wouldn't dive back into the Wheel of Time world, and it probably would never happen again. Now, my source did tell me that in early 2022, Tor started talking to some of its in-house fantasy authors, and the meetings went one of two different ways. So the authors were asked if they were to do a Wheel of Time prequel with access to Robert Jordan's notes, what would they do? That's pretty cool. Or if they were given a scenario, if you were to do X, so given some sort of prequel scenario, how would you go about doing it? So essentially, these authors were asked to pitch an idea to Tor about a Wheel of Time prequel. Now, that's really exciting. Now, my source did stress that this was very preliminary, very informal. It was really nailed down or tied down. But
now, is it because there's actually more stories that are worth being told or that need to be told, or is it because somebody that holds some rights somewhere wants some money and they're trying to capitalize on the TV show being out? If it's Harriet and she gets Brandon involved, I'm okay with that. You know, I think that's okay. If it's somebody else or something else, and it's just a shallow cash grab, no way.
It does give me hope. At the very least, they are talking about doing the Wheel of Time books. Now, we've known that Harriet and others have said publicly that there's not really been much interest in doing books, but we all know that money talks. And let's face it, with the show being so popular, we've had a lot of new book readers.
That's debatable. Is the show so popular? I don't know. It's pretty polarizing. certainly a 50-50 split at the least, at best, rather. I'm gonna have to get on to see what the reviews are going into season 2.
Show up and pick up these books. So the book series has had sort of a resurgence in readers, and the sales have been doing really, really well.
The only good thing to come out of this TV show is the renewed excitement about the Wheel of Time, and I am grateful for that. I mean, my own fan group, the Defenders of the Dragon, was formed in response to the TV show because I felt like we needed somewhere and something to keep attention on Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson and on the original works, so that people could have a place to talk about them and theorize about them, independent of the show. Because the sad truth is that for a lot of people, the show is going to be the definitive version of the Wheel of Time, because they'll never read the books, they'll never listen to them on Audible. They'll watch the show and think, oh, that was what all the hubbub was about, and leave it and forget about it, or look down on it. And the show should be looked down on. It's the worst show I've ever seen in my life. But it's really sad that we have 30 years of buildup for longtime fans and new fans of the books, and that this show is what people are going to remember, or well, at least what some people are going to remember. That cannot stand.
Lately, and if they want to capitalize on that, they're probably looking at getting books within the next couple of years at the very least, because if the show's going to remain popular and draw new readers in, that's why they want to have new books coming for them. It's pretty cool. Now, what would they do? Now, that was something my source didn't know. He didn't know what the exact pitches were. He didn't know exactly what people were saying.
I had heard rumors that Robert Jordan, and maybe one of you can look this up or quote some resources for it, but my understanding was that Robert Jordan had planned to do a book about Matt and Tuon after the last battle, and perhaps even something about Perrin. I don't know what the notes look like for that. It's kept under lock and key if there is anything. But I think they could certainly do some prequel type stuff. But the concern is, if the right people aren't involved, then we just have a Rings of Power scenario where they're just making stuff up. And I think if it goes the route of like the original Star Wars Expanded Universe before Disney kiboshed it all, that could be cool. A lot of different authors writing stories based on the world of the Wheel of Time might be cool, like Splinter of the Mind's Eye and I Jedi, and there was some really cool fan stuff there, but it was always understood that it was fan stuff. But it was still true to the spirit of, you know what I mean? And something like that might be cool. But a Rings of Power thing where they're trying to shove it down our throats that this is Lord of the Rings when it's not. Nah, no way.
Personally, myself, what I would like to see is something based around the Age of Legends, the War of Power, the breaking of the world, the founding of the White Tower. I would like to see all of that.
Exactly what Amazon is doing with the Silmarillion and Rings of Power, right? They're making stuff up from all these eras that we don't know a whole lot about. So I think it can work. It just has to be done right. It can't be a soulless cash grab that craps on the legend and the lore that was written by Robert Jordan.
Either a series or multiple series, because it ties to the main series by some of the characters, but there's thousands of years in between, so they can change a fair bit, and it gives the author or authors a lot of creative license. And a lot of what we know about the Age of Legends was all given to us by unreliable narrators in the book series. So if things change or they're not quite right, there's a lot of wiggle room there. Of course, I know that the Wheel Time fandom, trust me, I'm part of it, will probably pick them apart.
Are you? Or are you Wheel of Time? Are you still a Wheel of Time fan?
And trying to find those differences, I think that would be.
Or are you just an opportunist for your business?
Best thing. Now, let me know in the comments down below what you folks think about this. Do you think it's a great idea or not that new Wheel of Time books will be written by other authors? Now, I do want to stress, again, take this with a grain of salt, very informal, very preliminary, and nothing official. But I'm pretty excited about it, personally. And if you are excited about it too.
He's excited about it, not necessarily because, and this is just my opinion, I can't speak for anybody. I think he's excited about it because it gives him content to sell and to talk about and to keep his channel relevant. Um, Even I've seen that in our own fan club. Is we have over 700 members, not great, but not huge, but not too bad. Building it from scratch just in response to the TV show. But while the TV show season 1 was on, we had a lot to talk about, and the group was quite active. Now that we're in the lull between seasons, nobody's talking about much of anything in the group. We've all read the books multiple times. Unfortunately, there's just not that much conversation. I post memes and stuff to try to keep people engaged, but life catches up and gets in the way. So I understand where he's coming from with regard to that. And I admit I'm excited about the idea of new Wheel of Time content too, for the very same reason. It keeps us talking about the Wheel of Time, which is one of my absolute favorite things to talk about. And it's something that we certainly don't get to do enough of. So it's a love-hate relationship with all this new stuff coming out.
What authors would you like to see? Remember, in-house fantasy tour authors are best because they're the ones that are doing the pitches. And what would you like them to write? How would you like them to go about this? What areas of the Wheel of Time history would you like them to cover? I'm also going to be doing a poll over on Twitter after I release this video. So if you follow me on Twitter, go over there and answer the poll if you're happy with Wheel of Time books being written or not, and what you'd like to potentially see. All right. Thank you all so very much for sticking with me here at the very end. Here's to many more.
Yeah, not a bad video. It's fairly optimistic. I know I am quite the skeptic when it comes to this stuff. I was super excited. Oh, look, knuckling my mustache. I was super excited when the Wheel of Time TV series was announced, but even from trailer 1, and I have some videos of my initial reactions to it. Even from the first trailer, I could tell it was junk. And all my hopes went right out the door. But you know what? The future is not written, right? There's no fate but what we make. There's no reason that this atrocity can't be canceled and rebooted with a production team and that actually cares about it. I'd love to see it as an animated series. The live action maybe can be done, but the books are so huge, so many characters, so many locales, representing the magic system, which is binary. Thank you very much. A male and a female half. There's no reason to change that. It is what it is. It's like going back and trying to change history, to fit our modern audiences. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, an animated series done by the right studio could really do well, As far as books goes, just like I mentioned before, I'm pretty leery about it. I like the idea of it if the right people do it. Brandon has done nothing but become a stronger and better author as the years have gone on, and I think he would be the one best suited to do it. I like to pretend that one of his secret projects that he announced last year is something to do with Wheel of Time, and it's kind of too early to see. Maybe. Wouldn't that be cool if they had a secret Wheel of Time book coming out? Oh man, one can only dream, right? Well, thanks to WOT Up for this recap, and hope you enjoy my inane comments about it.